Farmer Briggs lived a quiet life, just him and his faithful dog, Buster, on a sprawling farm that had been in his family for generations. The farmhouse itself was a character, full of creaks and groans that told stories of seasons past. Briggs knew every single one of them. But one evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, a new sound joined the chorus. A faint, rhythmic knocking. He paused, straining his ears. Thump, thump, thump. It was coming from beneath the floorboards in the living room. Probably just the old house settling, he muttered to himself, trying to dismiss it. But Buster, who had been dozing by the fireplace, shot up. His ears perked and a low growl rumbling in his chest. He trotted over to a specific spot on the floor, sniffing intently, and then looked back at Briggs, whining. "It's nothing, boy," Briggs said, patting his head. But Buster was insistent. He pulled at the wooden planks, his tail stiff. The knocking continued intermittently over the next couple of days. Each time, Briggs would try to ignore it, blaming it on the wind or old pipes. And each time, Buster would repeat his ritual, growing more and more agitated. He'd nudge the farmer's hand, lead him to the spot, and let out a series of short, sharp barks. Briggs had always trusted Buster's instincts. The dog had a knack for sensing things others couldn't like the time. He warned him of a coming storm that wasn't on any forecast, or when he found a lost lamb tangled in the thicket. Buster was never wrong. Finally, Briggs couldn't ignore it any longer. The persistent knocking and his dog's unwavering certainty wore him down. All right, you win," he sighed, grabbing a crowbar from his tool shed. Buster watched with hopeful eyes, wagging his tail as Briggs knelt down and began to carefully pry up one of the old floorboards. The wood groaned in protest, and a gust of musty, cool air rose from the crawlspace below. He peered into the darkness, shining a flashlight into the void, and that's when he saw them. Two tiny, bright eyes blinking back at him. Cuddled in a small, makeshift nest of leaves and insulation was a mother fox and her litter of kits. One of the kits had gotten its leg stuck in a loose bit of wiring, and the mother had been nudging the floor above, knocking desperately, trying to get attention or free her baby. She wasn't aggressive, just scared. Her soft thumping was a plea for help. Briggs's heart melted. He carefully reached down, and with gentle hands, he worked to untangle the tiny kit's leg. The mother fox watched, tense but still. Once freed, the kit scampered back to its mother, nuzzling against her for comfort. Briggs understood immediately. The recent cold snap must have driven the family to seek shelter in the warmth of his crawlspace. They weren't pests. They were a family in need. He left a bowl of water and some leftover chicken near the opening before loosely placing the floorboard back, leaving enough of a gap for them to come and go. He looked at Buster, who was now sitting calmly, his job done. "You were right again, old friend," Briggs said, scratching him behind the ears. "You always are." Over the next few weeks, Briggs would occasionally leave out food, and he'd hear the soft pitter-patter of tiny paws beneath him, a comforting sound now that he knew its source. One morning, he saw the fox family venturing out into the fields, the kits now bigger and stronger. They glanced back at the farmhouse one last time, a silent thank you before disappearing into the woods. Old Farmer Briggs smiled. His quiet life wasn't so quiet after all, and he wouldn't have it any other way. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.